All right, let us get right on to our Monday Night Raw review. And yeah, our opening segment again was Orton coming out, the Authority, doing their thing. Orton, pretty much, he shakes hands with everybody. Everybody's like congratulating him coming back. Then, of course, he flips the script on them when it's his turn to speak, and he runs down everybody, makes fun of Kane, saying, oh, are you the devil's favorite demon, or are you a sellout? Big Show, he said, you're just a whining, crying little bitch, and you used to be a giant. Only funny part here was he completely skipped over Joey Mercury. He got there, Jamie Noble said, are you mad that people actually recognize me? And then, of course, he gets to Seth and does what he does to Seth. And then they all laugh about it, and that seems pretty much it. And they walk out. After that, we do get our first formal matchup of the night. Daniel Bryan versus Bad News Barrett with R-Truth on commentary, which, again, was a part that Ashton enjoyed. I did as well. Not really much to say here. It was, I guess, a pretty decent back-and-forth matchup. I mean, what do you really expect for an opener on Monday Night Raw? Bryan does get the win after the knee. Everybody's been beating Barrett. That's another guy I really feel sorry for. If we're talking about superstars, that it's frustrating. I mean, this whole BNB thing was so hot, and then they did BNZ, and I didn't care, and now he's just losing everybody, and it's just, what's happening? Yeah, it's really sad. But yeah, he wins the matchup. But then after that, Barrett does lay Bryan out with the bullhammer elbow. He leaves, and we transition. We had so many transitions like this tonight with storylines. We had Dean Ambrose versus Stardust.
It's almost like they're trying to be more efficient with their time.
Yeah, imagine that. But, we get Dean Ambrose versus Stardust. Again, not really a bad back-and-forth matchup. It was pretty decent. The ending sequence, Stardust tries going for the Crossroads. I don't know why he gave up Dark Matter, and he goes back to that Cody Rhodes maneuver. Maybe it shows, again, that fusion, that dichotomy. But Ambrose does a snapmare counter out of it. He gets the rebound lariat, ultimately, and he hits Dirty Deeds for the win. And then Ambrose, grabs the Intercontinental title. And then Barrett comes down again, and he just, he lays Ambrose out. Then Harper comes in, and he enters the fray. Then Bryan. Actually, I think Bryan came before Harper. My apologies. Then Ziggler. So everybody's fighting each other and laying each other out. And R-Truth is able to sneak in with a potato sack and put the belt inside. When Barrett finally goes to confront Truth, because he's the last man standing, because he hit another bullhammer elbow on Bryan. He ate two of those tonight. Truth says, hey, I don't have it, or, he finally does concede, like, okay, here's the sack. Turns out Barrett got a toy championship belt, and R-Truth made off with the real one. And good God, what universe do we live in where this guy is one of the most entertaining things about the product right now? That is scary.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say, Ashton? Because I'm just going to keep rolling on through unless, there's something you want to say about any of this.
No, I mean, it just kind of comes back to the heat of the night. I don't really have anything new to add.
Right. We find out that Connor the Crusher Michalik will be the inaugural recipient of the Warrior Award. Very cool. I do have to give a thumbs up to WWE for doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great stuff. Really nothing bad to say about that. We then get our Paul Heyman promo of the evening, where I get all jazzed and juiced up. But I will admit that it seemed like a bit of a rehash from last week with a few added lines, most notably that if Brock Lesnar wants to spend his summer unifying the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and the UFC Heavyweight Championship, he can do whatever he damn well pleases. He also mentioned Brock Lesnar crashing the Manny Pacquiao and the Floyd Mayweather fight. So, Heyman making references that, there is life outside WWE, and if Lesnar wants to pursue that, who's going to stop him? I think he even referenced pay and this and that. So Heyman is referencing the alleged tension that's going on between Brock Lesnar and WWE. And here's the thing, though. As much as I enjoyed this, I should have said that this is actually a nitpick, because he does mention Roman Reigns, and he does, put Roman Reigns over, I guess, coming from the bloodline that he does of Samoans, and how they're warriors and fighters, and how if they didn't get the job done, they couldn't come home tonight. So for Roman Reigns, it's either beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the championship, or don't come home tonight, don't consider yourself part of the family. So Heyman, of course, is referencing the lineage, the pressure, everything else. That's great. Here's the problem, though. When you talk about, if anybody is going to try and pull a Montreal screw job on Brock Lesnar, he won't leave a man in there alive. As much as I loved it, and as much as I was in the moment, when you stop and reflect, you're thinking, wow, at least in my opinion, Ash, now you may disagree, and our viewers may disagree, but for me, I just feel like it turns Brock Lesnar into the babyface for this whole thing because it no longer becomes Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at Mania. It seems to become Brock Lesnar versus the system. Because that's who Heyman really seems antagonistic for. I mean, for God's sakes, he even
See,
says...
John, but you're thinking too logically. You're not thinking enough like a senile old billionaire who's been in the same bubble for the last 50 years.
Oh, I legitimately thought you were getting ready to, disagree. I'm like, wait, where's this going?
No,
but,
no.
yeah.
What I'm saying is Vince McMahon doesn't see it as... He doesn't see Brock Lesnar versus the system, and they're trying to make Brock the babyface. He sees it as Brock Lesnar versus the WWE. And WWE fans love the WWE, so this is going to make them really hate that Brock Lesnar prick.
I had so many people in the chat that I was watching Raw and say, I want Lesnar to walk out with the title now after this promo. Yep. Like, I don't
they're
think
turning him. They're turning him into what CM Punk was in 2011, basically.
Exactly, Ashton. Right on point. And the consequence of that is, whether WWE wants to acknowledge it or not, I think you put a lot more people in the Brock Lesnar camp than you intended to.
Which is hilarious because everything that's being done right now, I mean, right down to Paul Heyman's subtle, not so subtle racism when he called Roman Reigns' ancestors borderline cannibals.
Yeah.
Everything that is being said on TV right now is the WWE desperately, and I mean desperately, doing everything in their power to make people like Roman Reigns. And everything they're trying is failing miserably.
And here's the thing, Ashton, and again, you may disagree, but not only do I feel like it's failing, I completely agree with you in that regard. I feel like after this promo,
it's backfiring.
I hate to say this, not only is it backfiring, Roman Reigns seems to be becoming an afterthought.
Yeah.
Because to me now,
this
it's
isn't
like,
about Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar anymore. This is about Brock Lesnar holding the WWE Championship hostage.
Exactly. And where have we seen that storyline before?
July of 2011, brother.
Exactly. I mean, again, I enjoyed it, but when you think about it rationally, which we try and do here on TWitWoW, I mean, it has farther-reaching implications that are not good for the angle being built up. So while I could listen to Heyman talk for 3 straight hours, no lie, not really best for the storyline you're trying to get over here.
This isn't best for business, damn it.
Damn it! But, yeah, so we go from that. Bray Wyatt's backstage, pretty much tells The Undertaker to find him. We go from that to Ryback and Eric Rowan versus Kane and Big Show. This whole matchup was just about, again, furthering the miscommunication between Kane and Big Show.
And Big then Show Stephanie McMahon comes out and uses her mom voice.
Yeah, she does, after Big Show accidentally hits the knockout punch on Kane.
I was expecting her to start throwing middle names around.
Yeah, I know, right? But Rowan actually gets the winning pin here on Kane. Then, of course, as Ashton, alluded to, Stephanie McMahon comes out, tears into these guys like, oh, maybe Randy Orton was right. Where's the monster and the giant? I want those guys back. And she says, you know what? Maybe you guys should just leave the arena and get it together. So, we have that. We go from that to a recap of the whole Miz and Damien Mizdow whole angle, and we see Wiz Khalifa backstage with the Miz now. Miz is just so excited, like he really wants to work with Wiz Khalifa. Wiz Khalifa says, hey man, I don't think that's going to work. I saw your commercial and I just don't think we would gel, but I found an A-lister already, Damien Mizdow, and Mizdow breaks down some funky lyrics on the Miz there. Pretty much announcing himself for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Would have no qualms if he won it for the record and was really able to break out of his own shadow if it came down to him and Miz. Yep. Just putting that out there. So, yeah. And then I just want to completely skip over this because after this, Wiz Khalifa performed a few songs. I hated it. I hated everything about it.
Oh, see, you know what? I got to admit, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it by any means, but there have been far worse musical performances on WWE television than this one.
See, and I feel like that's a purely subjective thing because I did feel like this was like I hated this. Like I know people have their problems with Flo Rida and all that other stuff. This to me.
What I will say is that I find it hilarious that the WWE markets itself as a PG show, and then you have Wiz Khalifa getting up here talking about Rollin' One, referring to a joint. Like, okay, apparently now WWE is supporting somebody. who, I mean, I don't personally have a problem with it, but they're supporting somebody who is a very active marijuana advocate, marijuana legalization advocate, and they're saying, here you go, kids, this is who you should look up to.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's hilarious, but the WWE probably doesn't even realize what they did.
No, they're completely aloof to their own actions, and that's sad. And thank goodness at least
if somebody in WWE upper management would hear me say that, they'd be like, wait, what is this faggot doing listening to the lyrics of songs? You're supposed to dance, damn it.
But, that said, we go from one cringeworthy thing to another because we see highlights of the Bella Twins as part of the new Flintstones movie. That's fine.
It just got worse and worse.
It did. And they cut a promo. I'm not even going to go verbatim. They pretty much just said that they're going to send AJ Lee and Paige back to the Stone Age.
We're the best tag team since Wilma and Betty.
Please don't. Don't make me relive it. But, yeah, it had a bunch of
And we're going to send Paige and AJ back to the Stone Age.
Yeah, I already said it, and you doing it in that voice doesn't make it any better for me. Like, the knife is literally being twisted in my insides. Please stop. So we had a bunch of, Flintstones references peppered in, and I was just annoyed to all hell, and I really wanted to rage, and I haven't felt that way in a long time. I really hated their faces in this segment. Moving on, AJ Lee versus Summer Rae. It's interesting. What was that?
Not bad.
Not bad, certainly not. No, it was a nice back and forth. Summer even ended up getting like her spinning heel kick in at one point, but ultimately, and it's I shouldn't say worth noting, but I should note that Eva Marie and Cameron were at ringside in support of Summer Rae. Now, these guys did all share a segment together when it's like, oh, give Divas a chance. It's about damn time someone give Cameron a chance, and I cringed everywhere. So maybe it's going to be a thing where these women band together. Is this even going to be a faction? I mean, I'll admit, I've got that morbid curiosity, which has never favored me in the past.
Yeah, that's the worst kind of curiosity.
I know. All anybody has to do is look at my track record, and they know that to be a fact. But AJ ends up getting the Black Widow on Summer. Summer taps out. The end. No Bella confrontation, no anything. I guess because they inflicted enough pain for one evening. They say still to come. We will hear from Sting. And then we get a video from Sting, but it's not Sting's voice. And he pretty much says that he's waited 14 years, for this moment. And he says, Triple H, your pride is going to be your downfall. And it's game on at WrestleMania 31. And here WWE actually got me excited that they had Sting in the arena and he was finally going to address everything. But at least they're smart enough to know that you shouldn't throw it away unadvertised on free TV. So I'm still waiting for Sting's side of the story. Hopefully that'll come. Lana and Rusev are backstage. They run into John Cena. John Cena pretty much goes off, as we alluded to, the whole, hey, if you threaten America, it's going to be a hurting on you. So, yeah, we go from that to Rusev versus Curtis Axel.
By the way, before you move on, I just wanted to catch you here. The Cena thing. Don't you love that he says about how the country gives us rights and that Russia doesn't do that? But that doesn't give you the right to go out there and downgrade or whatever he said about America. I was like, dude, that's what you're literally trying to say, is that it does give him the right. And then he fixed himself and he was like, you might have the right to say what you want, but I got the right to kick your ass. And I was just like, in the real world, no, you don't. You would still get arrested for attacking somebody despite something that they said.
America!
What a scumbag!
I know. And you know what? I did find that bunch hilarious because I'm like, wow, maybe that interaction with Curtis Axel the week prior had some side effects. But we do get Rusev versus Curtis Axel. Curtis Axel has now been in the Royal Rumble match for over 40 days. Endurance, bitches. Get with it.
I have to ask, I mean, even if he didn't get thrown over the rope that night, wouldn't Dean Ambrose coming out the following week and tossing him over the top rope count as him getting eliminated?
Ashton, your logic's starting to tick me off. But no, in all seriousness, probably, yeah. But they're just running with it. I'm cool with it. Whatever. Rusev versus Curtis Axel, I will give him this much, though. I mean, he got squashed. I'm not going to say anything about that. I do think that they're legitimately going to turn him babyface or something, because Rusev got the jump on him early on. And the ref even asked him, Curtis, you want to continue? You want to continue? And he's like, yeah, continue. And he did try and take the fight to Rusev. So I don't know if a babyface turn is happening here or it's just Curtis Axel going further and further into his own delusions. Either way, I'm entertained. So I'm cool with it. But yeah, Rusev pretty much demolishes Curtis Axel, thus making my column officially 0 and 5,960,800 times wrong.
That's
an
odd even number. I'm impressed.
I know, right? Yes! Anyway,
wow.
After that, we get our horrid beatdown that me and Ashton spent a good chunk of time complaining about, so I'm just going to go right over that.
Mm-hmm.
And then speaking of going right over things, the New Day pretty much goes right over the tag team champions.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem. But then...
I'll tell you what the problem is, WWE. This decision...
I know, right? All of that decision, though. But then we go from that to Natalya versus Naomi. Not a bad matchup, and I
love that, literally, hashtag give Divas a chance. The following week we get, I forget, who was it last week that wrestled? Was it Nikki and Paige?
I think it was Brie Bella and Paige.
Yeah. And they got like 4 or 5 minutes, but there was a 3.5-minute commercial in the middle of that match. And now this week we get Natty versus Naomi. Same exact thing. We had a freaking commercial right in the middle of this match.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me, especially because, this match didn't go on the longest. And I will say...
I would have preferred a freaking commercial during the Big Show Kane Ryback Eric Rowan match.
I know, right? And, I do have to, it's, again, to use Ashton's phrase, the pickiest of nits here for this matchup. I hated that Naomi got the win with the rear view.
I did, too! I even said something about it while we were watching it. I don't know if you heard me or not.
I probably didn't hear you, so I apologize. But, yeah, that's something we totally share, because I miss that split-legged moonsault, man. That's a thing of beauty.
Even if she doesn't use the split-legged moonsault, what about that leg DDT that she does?
Or that variation she has at the final cut, where it's like not her leg, but she kind of just brings her fist down or whatever, and just, I don't know, full force.
Yeah.
She has like so many finishing maneuvers and start to keep.
And they use the worst one.
Yeah.
The first time that she has a one-on-one match after hashtag give Divas a chance, and she decides to bring back the ass slap.
I don't mind the rear view as a setup maneuver, and I've even said that in the past, but to legitimately put somebody away, no. Just no.
That's a literal kiss my ass, Moggle.
After the matchup, Natalya continues to literally be the worst. I know that's caused quite a stir in our comments, like, oh, why do you hate Natalya? Yeah, this right here. She takes Kid's title belt, and she walks off with it saying that it's hers. I don't remember you getting the winning pin at Fastlane. Who did? Yeah, Tyson did. Give him his property back. Jesus. We see the Matadors come out, El Torito. They have their match with the Usos. It all breaks down in the end. One Uso does the dive off the ropes onto the one Matador, and then El Torito tries to distract the other one when he's about to do the hip attack, that whole butt bum in the corner. And the other Matador shoves the Uso into El Torito. That's what I'm saying, heelish behavior, and again, he got a handful of the tights. So the Matadors win. So, yeah, I think we have our class contenders, and where the hell are the Ascension and PTP? I mean, we got to
The Ascension's getting buried because Vince McMahon isn't high on them.
Oh, yeah, speaking of which, just a quick side note while we're on tag teams, and this will be my last note for the night. Way to go, guys, giving away the Ascension and the Usos on free TV on an episode of freaking Main Event, and having the Usos go over clean. Jesus.
Wait, the Usos beat the Ascension on an episode of Main Event?
Yeah, you must not have caught me telling you that, because I know that's something I said during conversation. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's so frustrating.
Well, that's it. The Ascension might as well just get relegated back to NXT now.
Don't you mean promoted?
Yeah, basically.
But, okay. Now, I'm going to show a little bit of the fan here, because I can't lie. I did thoroughly enjoy this segment, if for nothing else. Man, did it bring me back to childhood, and there's no better feeling than that.
Which one?
What was that?
Which segment?
The Bray Wyatt segment with The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, he says he won't...
I think this is going to be the only segment that gets universal praise this week.
Yeah,
like even the Paul Heyman promo, I've even had my sort of detractions about it, meaning like there are certain things about it that I didn't like, but with this, I don't know if there's anything about this that anyone didn't like.
Right. Because if you're me, it brings you back to a simpler time. If you're everybody else, I'm sure the easier route to be would be, well, I'm an Undertaker fan and I'm just marking out. He says he won't worship the Undertaker. He won't even stand by his side. He just wants to walk over his bones on the way to the throne. God, Bray has been so on point lately. And pretty much, he's calling out the Undertaker again. Find me, find me, find me. He even has like the urn. He looks inside. He laughs, and his laugh is so on point because he's just so mocking and biting in his criticisms. And he says, it's empty. It's empty, just like the Undertaker, because he's done, more or less. And finally, the lights go out. You hear the gongs. And here's the thing. I love that they kept even a sign from the Undertaker removed from all this for so long, because the reaction it got from this crowd was perfect. I know the Undertaker's always naturally going to have that respect because he is a legend and he's the freaking Undertaker, and I think he deserves everybody's respect. But as far as genuine investment and caring, I really haven't felt that for the Undertaker in some time. Well, I guess when the streak ended, obviously, but you get my point. When he was entering a program, so to speak. And I feel like he got that here. So, the gong's going off, and you see at WrestleMania, the man comes around. And I think he said, the Undertaker's voice says, you will rest in peace. And then we get our lightning strike on Bray's rocking chair, which I thought was a really cool effect. And you see it on fire, but at the same time, Bray's reaction was perfect because he is elated. You would have thought that he was like that kid in that one commercial where he receives an N64 for Christmas and he just starts losing his shit. Yeah, that was Bray Wyatt because he got what he wanted. And, man, I just wish Undertaker was in better physical condition for this matchup because, dude, I would be salivating right now. It's just the two perfect personalities going at it, and the only thing taking me out of it is I know the Undertaker is older and just his prior performances, but who knows? Maybe these guys will still make me say that they stole the show at WrestleMania. I think they have as good a chance as anybody else without this card shaking out, but yeah, I love this, so great job. Anything you want to add?
I had my mic muted, my bad. No, I don't have anything else to say.
Okay. Well, with that, we go right on to our...
Oh, actually, you know what? I just remembered. I did have something else to say. My fault. I apologize. But yeah, this WrestleMania is interesting to me because you could argue that the main event is Lesnar versus Reigns, but if you sort of weigh the amount of hype, the amount of build, the amount of airtime that each feud has gotten, it almost feels like we have a quadruple main event this year.
Yeah, it really does.
Because we've got Lesnar versus Reigns, we've got Wyatt Taker, and then we've got the two mid-card titles, which are feeling incredibly important at WrestleMania this year. And all four of those matches, to a degree, feel main event-y from the way they've been getting built.
I mean, if you want to talk about Bray Taker specifically, because that's the subject we're on, I mean, Ashton, there was one Raw where Bray had 3 separate promos that were kind of telling a story of him putting a nail in a coffin, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
So, it's gotten a lot of screen time, which I'm not against, because I think, to me, it's kind of brought in Bray back to promo prominence, so to speak, because I've fallen in love with his mic work all over again. I mean, I used to call him, I gave him the name, the maestro of the microphone, and I feel like he's earned those stripes back with this program.
Right.
And Undertaker's minimal involvement, first of all, I think it returns him to that kind of specter that we all really revered and feared him as.
I gotta say, I wasn't a massive fan of the Paul Heyman promo tonight, but the one thing that he did that I absolutely loved was talking about how Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker so bad that Bray Wyatt is needing to resurrect him to fight him this year.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Great line. That was a great line. But yeah, I mean, I just love how they have The Undertaker's character approaching this. I think Bray is just really, again, it's the two perfect personalities colliding. So yeah, I think as it stands, even with my reservations, which I think are justified given, where The Undertaker is in his career, this is still probably my most anticipated match at Mania, and I think a huge debt to that, goes to Bray Wyatt. So I just hope he does, something amazing after this, whatever it is.
Right.
But, we go from that to our main event, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins and Randy Orton. Not really much to say here, because the match quickly breaks down when Jamie Noble's like, hey, I got the referee distracted. Why didn't you take your shot at Reigns or whatever? And then they start going at it, and Seth Rollins, in his infinite wisdom that's been portrayed throughout the night, even had a backstage segment with J&J Security before this matchup, and he said, hey, guys, I've got this. That's why I'm the brains of the group, whatever. He sends those guys to the back. After they tried warning him, Seth, we just got a bad feeling. Seth, you should listen to us. And then, when Roman Reigns takes control for a second, I think nails his little variation of an F5 or whatever, Rollins tries going for a tag, and Orton pretty much flips him off. Rollins is just freaking out because he's like, hey, wait, I thought we were bros. I thought we were good. What's happening? And he turns around, eats a Roman Reigns spear. Reigns gets the win, leaves Randy Orton to do whatever the hell he wants. And, yeah, then comes the beatdown. And honestly, I want to give this one to you, Ashton, since you enjoyed this more than I did. I mean, any particular moments of the beatdown that you want to highlight here?
No. I mean, to me, this wasn't so much. Like I said, this wasn't. I thought I said this earlier. This isn't so much that I loved this beatdown and I was really like getting into it and like, yeah, kick his ass, Randy. This to me was just a principle, a symbol. It represented the end of this stupid Randy Orton is a part of the Authority.
Right. Yeah,
like, I will say I absolutely loved the end of this beatdown where Orton gets that look in his eye where he's like, oh man, I'm going to put him through the table. And he tosses. I think that was my favorite part of the whole night, actually, was Randy Orton literally just chucking Seth Rollins over the announce table and Rollins hitting the back of of Michael Cole's chair like a lawn dart. It's reminiscent of what, I don't know if it was Kevin Nash or Big Show, but one of those big guys did to Rey Mysterio back in the WCW NWO days. But yeah, I think that was the highlight of my night was Seth Rollins flying over the announce table like a lawn dart. But then yeah, the RKO on the table was great, and that to me that was really what this whole segment was about, because I don't care about Randy Orton punching and kicking Seth Rollins. What I care about is him hitting the RKO, and that's what this all built to. And when he finally did it, I popped, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and to be fair, you did make that qualification at the beginning of the show where you said, like, it was the principle of Randy Orton just getting over this crap and being the Viper that we all know he's capable of being, and could be capable of beating Brock Lesnar, just saying. So, yeah, I mean, for those reasons, definitely can understand why people enjoyed it. I mean, to be fair, I just love when Randy Orton comes off of his hinges, and, like, when he's talking smack, did you really think I was going to forget, huh? Did you? And it just, like, all the trash talk, that's what actually got me going. That's what I popped for the most. I just thought it was hilarious. I love seeing Randy Orton just come off and just totally blow up at everybody. So that was great. But, yeah, Raw goes off the air with Randy Orton standing tall as Rollins is left with just everything broken. The announce table just destroyed, him destroyed, everything else. So you can imagine that Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins will happen at WrestleMania. So with that said, Ashton, do you have any concluding remarks about this Raw before we go on to our next segment?
Nope.
All right, let's get right into high spots and low shots. Easiest low shot ever, Seth Rollins. You, sir, were an idiot tonight. I love you, but you were a moron. Everybody told you that this was coming, and you chose not to believe them, and guess what? It happened. So, yeah, he had a horrible night because he showed that he really doesn't have any common sense, and Randy Orton got his hands on Seth Rollins, so easy low shot for me.
Easiest low shot ever, Rusev.
There you go.
Because he got tortured into giving up a U.S. Championship match at WrestleMania that John Cena didn't deserve in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Just
douchebag.
So much. Honestly, I can make a whole commentary about that segment, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to sign on everything you said.
Why don't you wet a rag and hold that over his face, John? Waterboard him while you're at it.
I know, right?
Guantanamo Bay up in this bitch.
High spot. Honestly, to be fair, I gotta give it to Los Matadores.
Oh my god.
Well, here, look, dude, they were practically in the sphere of irrelevance. Nobody even cared about them.
They still are.
They still are,
but Usos doesn't make them relevant.
By WWE standards, it does. And that's what we have to look at. I mean, yes, in terms of fanfare and everything, they're still irrelevant. But they showed a more heelish streak. They wanted to be heels originally with this gimmick, which is why I'm kind of laughing to myself, because this is probably what they've always wanted. We know Fernando and Diego are very talented guys when it's just, them being who they really are, Epico and Primo. So, Hopefully we get to see it a little bit more, but under a heel banner, I could get into that. Hopefully they kick El Torito to the curb. That'd be a nice touch. But yeah, they beat the freaking Usos, the guys who we gave LOL Usos win. And by WWE standards, again, they're probably going to get a WWE Tag Team title shot, so not a bad day at the office. I got to give it to the Matadors.
Yeah.
Who's your high spot?
Man. I'm going to just take the easy way out. My high spot's Randy Orton. He played the long con for as long as anyone could bear it, and he paid it off at the end there.
Great. I completely agree. I mean, nothing really I can add to that. I mean, Orton beat the crap out of Rollins and was able to get away with it after he told everybody his plan. If that's not a terrific night, I don't know what is.
Honorary high spot goes to Bray Wyatt's rocking chair.
Definitely.
Because that outpopped just about everyone else on this show.
Absolutely. Completely agree. With that said, let us roll right on to our Raw request. Mine, again, for the second straight week, I actually have one prepared, so Ashton doesn't have to do the heavy lifting. Make Seth Rollins get some measure of revenge on Orton that actually fleshes out his intellect that we all know he has, for no other reason but because he brags about it to everyone else. I don't want this to be a matchup where the story is Rollins is terrified of paying for his sins, and Randy Orton exacts his pound of flesh. I don't mind Randy Orton going over. That's not what I'm saying. But don't make it seem like Rollins is just waiting for his execution. Have him fight back. Have him bare his teeth. Let this have like an actual fight feel. Do something. So yeah, my Raw request is get back to Cerebral Rollins next Monday, and have him get a measure of revenge that way. I don't know, maybe corner Orton somehow. Do something so it seems like WrestleMania is being fought on even ground. So that's my Raw request.
There's no way that's going to happen.
I know.
Do you remember WrestleMania? I don't remember what the number is, but I'm going to say 2011.
You talking about Orton Punk?
Yep.
Yeah, but even then, at least Punk fought back. I mean, while Orton was tearing apart the new Nexus one by one, I mean, there was that one really great scene where he took Orton out by the leg, and he was working over Orton's leg, and that was the story, and even blew a kiss to Orton's wife in their little tour bus. So, Punk didn't lay over and die. I'm just looking for Rollins to do the same thing. Don't have this be where each week he takes out a member of J&J Security, even though you really couldn't do that because there are only like 20 days left till Mania. But I digress.
John, there are 20 days left till Mania, which means that there are 2 Raws until Mania.
Yeah.
How many members of J&J Security are there again?
Well, 2, but then you also have to figure about Big Show and Kane, but he really couldn't take him out anyway because of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, so yeah, that's probably happening when you really do all the math. But regardless, my Raw request still stands. I just want to know what yours is.
Oh, my Raw request is... How do I word this in a way that will really truly get the point across? My Raw request is to buy Paul Heyman a back brace.
Oh, you think he's getting speared next week?
No.
Oh.
Because he's been carrying this entire feud on his back.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what the hell is he on about? But yeah.
Yeah, no, but seriously though, my honest to God Raw request is, I don't know, considering you're building him up to be your next big face, and he's facing Brock freaking Lesnar, and Paul Heyman has been cutting these relentless promos on him, maybe, just maybe, do something next week to actually feature Roman Reigns. He was on your TV for, 3 minutes tonight in a segment where he was literally a secondary character to Rollins and Orton?
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me at all. The fact that you didn't... And see, that's another reason I had...
But he got his win back, Moggle!
That's another reason I had a problem with the Wiz Khalifa little mini concert. Like, that time could at least have been given, because Roman Reigns is a succinct speaker anyway. You're telling me he couldn't have come down and retorted to Heyman's point and had another stare down with Lesnar?
Heyman called Roman Reigns' ancestors cannibals, and he didn't have anything to say about that?
That to me is ridiculous. And here's the crazy part, right? The snowed-in Raw that they had in Connecticut, I actually enjoyed because of the segments they did. Like,
Yeah.
It's crazy. I thought it would have been a snooze fest. And I know that's not the popular opinion because everybody is just dumping on Lesnar and Reigns, but I love the stare down that they had.
Yep.
I loved Paul Heyman talking.
No one's
to
dumping
Roman
on
Reigns.
Lesnar. Everyone's dumping on Reigns.
Exactly, and that's why I said Lesnar and Reigns, because they just don't like the main event. They like Lesnar, they just don't like the main event. You swap out Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and I mean, you get where I'm driving at here. But I loved all that. But you haven't had a face-to-face interaction between these two guys in what feels like forever. And we're on the road to WrestleMania, and this is the second time Lesnar has appeared on TV, but no Reigns to be found. And in fact, I don't want to look too deep into it, but of course I'm going to because it's me. But that almost makes Roman Reigns seem like, well, is he scared of Lesnar? Because he's been perfectly capable and comfortable coming out when it's just Paul Heyman running his mouth. But he does it tonight with Lesnar in tow, and there's no Roman Reigns to retort. And as Ashton said, Paul Heyman did not hold back tonight, maybe because he knew he had Brock Lesnar. And he said some very disparaging and scathing remarks to Reigns, his family, the WWE.
And like I said earlier, it was borderline racist, which, just to be clear, that's not what I have a problem with. I think that works because he's a heel, and they're basically saying that being racist is a bad thing to do. So I love that. But, I mean, the fact that he said stuff that low, he stooped that low to say stuff about Reigns, and Reigns didn't have a thing to say about it. Are you kidding me?
It just makes Reigns look horrible.
It makes Reigns look like a pussy.
It does. I mean, and again, once again, Roman Reigns, in my eyes, is the victim here, because when you give the guy something to do, I think he does pretty well with it just on his own merits.
You know what? No, I shouldn't even say that, because that's an insult to vaginas. It makes Roman Reigns look incredibly weak.
Yeah, that is a better term to use. And it does. It makes him look incredibly weak. You're absolutely right. And it's just a shame, because once again, Roman Reigns is going to suffer for something that to me was entirely out of his hands, and that's just sad. But that's pretty much that. And I think, you have nothing else you want to say, right?
No, that my Raw request is set in stone. I think they need to do more. And really, I'm going to even make this conditional. I'm going to say either A, do more to feature Reigns, or B, add somebody to the match that you're already featuring so that you can actually have a WrestleMania main event that people give a crap about.
Perfect. With that said, let's close this out with our last segment, 30-second hot seat. You have anything for me this week?
You know what, dude? I'm going to do this. For your 30-second hot seat, what I want you to do is I want you to tell me what you think Roman Reigns should do next week. If you want him to cut a promo, tell me what you think he should say. If you want him to wrestle, tell me who you think he should go against and how he should beat them. Just a really basic little miniature booking exercise. You have 3 seconds. Time starts now. 30.
I would have Paul Heyman cut another promo, another really scathing promo, except Brock Lesnar is not in tow because I don't think he'll be on TV next week.
Yeah, he is due to be on TV next week.
He is? Okay,
yeah.
Then have Lesnar with him. Have Roman Reigns come out, retort. Him and Brock go face to face and have a little confrontation, and then bam, that's it. Maybe even give him a matchup. I don't know. Jesus, who could they have him go against?
Axelmania!
No, just put him in there with Kane maybe or something. Okay. And then bam, you get that. And so yeah, you have him in a simple matchup, but the main thing is he confronts Lesnar. Right. Maybe even hits a Superman punch on Lesnar. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Not a spear though. I think that's a moment of imagery that you should save for Mania. But yeah, just like Superman punch.
How funny would it be if Reigns went for a spear and Lesnar just no-sold it? Didn't even take a bump from it. He just stood there and ate it.
That would be hilarious. I also wouldn't mind if maybe he caught the spear and like powerbombed him or something. I don't know. But yeah, Superman punch. And then, yeah, just as long as Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are confronting each other, that's really the primacy of my booking.
Reigns goes for a spear, and Lesnar literally jumps over him and lands with his butt on Reigns' back.
That would be something.
And just sits on him there, and then stands back up and starts kicking him.
Yeah, this is the packing order. This is how things really go. Man, but yeah, that's...
And then the next time Reigns goes for a spear, he aims higher and clips Lesnar in the nuts. Match over.
Yep, DQ finish. Oh, that'd be a perfect middle finger, too. But, yeah, I know I went over 30 seconds and I rambled on and on, but yeah, just...
That's all right, yeah, it's all good. All right, let's close this thing out. I'm done talking about this show.
All right, guys, this This has been Raw. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. Were you as apathetic to this Raw tonight as we were? What's your most anticipated matchup currently for WrestleMania 31? Be sure to take the conversation over to Facebook on Tweetoff, an amazing pro wrestling group. Also, be sure to check out our TWitWoW subreddit that Ashton so generously created. I would really like to see any interactions, going on there. I think that would be very cool. So yeah, talk to us, and we will see you again for the Wednesday Night Wars, starting with our Lucha Underground review, where it's two men, one cage, and one burning question. Will King Cuerno mount Johnny Mundo's head on his wall, or will Mundo be able to rise to the occasion and remind Cuerno why man exactly is the most dangerous game? Until then, guys, you know what to do. Tune in, and peace out.